Yo, what is up guys? It's me, exactly. Some things went down in the NBA that we gotta talk about today, but first I do have to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, SeatGeek. Now you guys already know what SeatGeek is. It's the best app for you guys to use if you're looking to get tickets at the best possible price to sporting events, any type of live event. You can even see the seats in the app before you get them. Even better is if you enter my promo code SDC, you will get an additional $20 off your first order. I'll have the links to the app down in the description if you want to check it out. But now with that out the way, let's get into the video. This beef between NBA players and the referees is growing more and more. It almost seems like after every game played, the relationship between the refs and the players gets worse, even though I don't even think that's possible at this point. For real, NBA, y'all gotta check up on the refs and make sure they don't have some type of hidden agenda, because some of the stuff they have been pulling this year is just ridiculous. The Toronto Raptors hosted the Golden State Warriors yesterday. The Warriors playing on a back-to-back after beating the Bucks on the previous night, and Stephen Curry returned for them, so they were at full strength. And if we're sure it looked like it in the first half, they were giving it to Toronto. You couldn't blame some Raptors fans if they switched off the game at halftime. 81-54 was the score at the break. However, despite that, the Raptors fought back to make a game out of it in the second half, especially late in the fourth quarter. The Raptors had all the momentum, and it seemed like they were about to pull off maybe the biggest comeback of the year so far, and maybe they would have done it if it weren't for the refs. There were a lot of questionable calls and no calls made by the refs in this game last night, and we'll just put it like that. But there was one call in particular that had people in an uproar. Around 8 seconds left to go in the game. The Raptors are down 3. A scramble for the ball breaks out. Eventually, with only a second left, the ball finally is ruled out of bounds off Curry, and it would be Raptors ball. That was the call on the court. However, of course, the officials went to review it. And in the reviews, at the 1 second mark, it does show the ball out of bounds off Steph Curry. So you would think Raptors ball, right? That's what you would think, but you would be completely wrong, because what the officials did is they went and rewinded the film a couple of seconds and saw that it was off DeMar DeRozan before it was off Steph Curry, and they ruled off DeRozan, put 3 seconds back on the clock, and gave the ball to the Golden State Warriors, which seems like it's all right. That seems fair. It was off DeRozan first. They went back, saw it, and gave the ball to the team that deserved the ball, right? It's just that nobody knew that they could do this. We all thought the only thing reviewable was the call made on the court. They can't go back and see if they missed anything else. What was up for review was whether it was off Steph Curry or some other Raptors player at the time the call was made, at the time the ball was declared out of bounds. The ball wasn't declared out of bounds back when DeRozan hit it out of, no, it wasn't like that. So it seems like they reviewed something that wasn't up for review. Everything that went down prior to the whistle being blown was supposed to be irrelevant. At least that's how they've been reffing things for the past who knows how long. And of course, DeMar DeRozan was furious about this. After the game, he said it felt like the Raptors were playing 5-on-8.
Coach seemed pretty frustrated about some late game officiating, especially considering how hard you guys had played to get back in it. I mean, how tough is that to sort of look back on after a game like this?
I mean, it's frustrating, you know, being out there feeling like you playing 5-on-8. It's just what it felt like, period. Some of them calls was terrible, period.
Mark, did you even understand the last call?
No, I thought you couldn't even do that. And I'm not even a referee. And I know that rule, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
And Dwayne Casey, the coach of the Raptors, was upset about it as well. And he kind of echoed some of the concerns that LeBron James had earlier in the season, saying that when you go to a ref and ask if they saw something, they'll just say no, or it wasn't my call to make.
So many calls down the street, I've got to look at them. I've got to look at them and see, you know, again, I'm looking upstairs, but it's just mind-boggling that when you ask the official, did he see it? No, I didn't see it, wasn't my call. And, you know, I've got to have an explanation.
These refs gotta be checked, yo. They have always been kinda sus. This year they have taken sus to a whole nother level. It's like there's a bunch of Tim Donahues out there. And of course, they released a statement after the game as to why they made that call. Instant replay review was used because the officials were unsure who would be awarded possession after the ball went out of bounds. During the replay, we checked the loose ball sequence at the sideline and we determined that Toronto's DeMar DeRozan caused the ball to go out of bounds with 3 seconds remaining. The Warriors were awarded the ball and the clock was reset to 3 seconds. All they said is what they did. That's literally all they said. Look, we got eyes, we see what you did. We just didn't know that you could do that. I guess it's just one of those things where it almost never happens. Something like this has rarely ever happened. That they did something that once again, no one knew they could do. In other news, with all the talk about Luke Walton and his job possibly being on the line with the Los Angeles Lakers, the top of the line brass for the LA Lakers decided to put all of the talk to a stop yesterday. And I don't think it's a question anymore that Luke Walton's job is more than likely safe. Both Magic Johnson and Jeannie Buss tweeted out support for Luke Walton yesterday. Magic Johnson saying Coach Luke Walton has the Lakers playing some of their best basketball of the season right now. And Jeannie Buss, one of the owners of the Lakers, posted a picture of her having dinner with Luke Walton, basically implying that they have a good relationship. So that happened. And now I have a question for ESPN. What are y'all doing? I don't think I can ever cover anything that site covers again unless there is a video proof of what they are saying is true. Because y'all blatantly lied again. It was ESPN who published that thing about LeVar Ball saying the players for the Lakers don't support their coach, Luke Walton. And it was an ESPN reporter who yesterday said that the Lakers brass weren't happy with Luke Walton and were looking for a replacement coach, saying he had informants within the organization whispering in his ear. Come to think of it, Brian Windhorst, the reporter for ESPN, one of the first things he said in that interview was that LeVar Ball was low-key right. And after that, he pretty much just echoed what LeVar Ball was saying, except unlike LeVar, he claimed to have these magical fairy dust sources. See, that was the main thing that people had a problem with LeVar Ball. That's what had coaches so upset. LeVar Ball, someone who has no sources, someone who doesn't know what's going on behind closed doors with the Lakers, was coming out bashing Luke Walton, saying the players didn't support him. That's what got ESPN in a lot of trouble in the first place. So in a move to save face, they send in this Brian Windhorst guy, a guy who's supposed to have these inside sources with the Los Angeles Lakers. He somehow knows everything that's going on with the Lakers and get him to say the exact same things that LeVar Ball was saying. It really does seem like this whole Windhorst thing from yesterday was an attempt from ESPN to cover themselves up, and they thought they were going to get away with it until Magic Johnson and Jeannie Buss came out and voiced their support for Luke Walton, basically putting ESPN on blast, saying, what the heck are y'all talking about? ESPN, y'all are officially fake news in my book. I will never trust a single thing that is reported by you or any of your reporters unless I see hard factual proof. Let me know what you guys think about these two things though. Is ESPN fake news at this point? And did the officials have the right to go back 2 seconds and call the ball out on DeMar DeRozan instead of just looking at the original call out on Steph Curry? But now let's get into the rest of the games from last night. Zach LaVine played his first game for the Bulls yesterday against my Detroit Pistons. Look, it's good to see him back out there on the court, but I just wish he didn't have to come back against us. And of course, LaVine will be on a minutes restriction, only getting around 20 minutes a night for now, but still, he looked really freaking good in the time he was able to play. 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from deep, 14 points in his first game back as the Bulls hold on to beat the Pistons 107-105. I was a little salty about this because there were some questionable calls down the stretch and a no call on the potential game-tying shot by Reggie Bullock at the buzzer. But hey, those type of things are rarely called at the end of the game, so what are you gonna do? Done! Hit some big shots for Chicago down the stretch, though. He had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks, while Andre Drummond had 21 points and 15 rebounds for the Pistons. We didn't want to lose. That's what Jordan Clarkson said after the game, and that is what he and the Lakers played like last night. They played like a team that didn't want to lose down the stretch because despite being down for most of the game besides the first quarter, the Lakers fought back against the Mavericks, forced overtime, and eventually came away with the 107-101 win, their 4th straight win. Julius Randle, the Dallas native, was the guy for LA most of the night. He had 6 points in overtime alone and finished with 23 points and 15 rebounds. Whoever does end up trading with this guy is going to get one heck of a player. Kuzma and Clarkson were both key on the bench as well. Kuzma with 18 points and Clarkson with 19, while Brandon Ingram did have to leave this game early and is now listed as day-to-day with a sprained ankle. I honestly thought Kawhi Leonard was going to be out a lot longer than this. It was only last week when the Spurs announced he had a partial tear in his shoulder, but I guess that's just one of those injuries that sounds worse than it actually is, because he played for the Spurs last night in their game against the Nuggets and he gave the Nuggets that work. 5 of 8 from the field, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. He did so much without having to do much at all, and I can't wait to see what he looks like when he's at 100% this season. 112-80, the final score. Towards the end of the third quarter, it seemed like the Thunder were going to fall apart and lose their 4th straight game in a row. The Hornets were scoring at will, and the Thunder just seemed to be unraveling on the offensive end. And that's when the bench for OKC came in to start the 4th quarter and put the Thunder back on the right track to win the game. I mean, they were down like 6. Charlotte had all the momentum, but as soon as OKC's bench came in, the Thunder went up like 9 in the blink of an eye. I never think I'd see the day where OKC's bench was responsible for them getting the win. Final score eventually read 101-91 in favor of the Thunder. It may have taken an extra period, but the Wizards were eventually able to get the win over the Nets. The Nets may not win a whole lot, but they are a pesky team. They push you to the edge where you think you might lose, but you still win anyway. Scary wins. That's what you get when you play the Nets. John Wall was setting guys up last night though, as he recorded 16 assists to go along with his 23 points, and 119-113 was the final score. Lastly, DeAndre Jordan missed his first game of his 10-year career due to injury yesterday. That's crazy, and it's even crazier that he was able to do this while playing for the Clippers. However, even without DJ, the Clippers were still able to beat the Kings 126-105 and are now 500 on the year at 21-21. Round of applause for LA. Look, I'm serious. I make fun of them a lot, but for real, the fact that they don't have a losing record with everything they have been through already is beyond impressive. Lou Williams for MVP as he balled out again yesterday, scoring 26. That wraps up all the action for last night, though. You guys can go vote for the player of the day by clicking this little thing right here. Just remember though, that only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, you guys selected DeMarcus Cousins and his 24 points, 19 rebounds, and 8 assists as your player of the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to smack that like button and subscribe to the channel to join the quest to 200K, hashtag a million a year, and to stay up to date with everything that goes on in the NBA on a daily basis. But until tomorrow, keep getting the bucks, Team FTC, and I'm out of here. Peace.